All right, we are here at my outdoor worm bin, and it has been a bit of a crazy month for this worm bin because it went through a hurricane last month, and then another one came by about 10 days later. And this time it went right through us. So that ended up causing a bunch of issues for us because out in our backyard, we had a jungle gym slash playset that I had built 22 years ago, and it was kind of falling apart. So we had to take that down, and that is where we would put this outdoor worm bin to kind of keep it in the shade and to keep it on the ground just to the side of it. Because of that, we have had to put this outdoor worm bin in different spots, and lately it has been around our regular compost pile. So I'm not sure if that has added to some of the different critters that have come in here or if some of my worms have left. And one of the things you'll notice is that we've got kind of a shallower bin and a lot more cardboard than we typically have, and that's because I just did a pretty big harvest. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bulk this thing up, and we're going to add all kinds of great things to include a Floofah to do another experiment both in this bin and outside. So as I'm looking in here, we're not seeing a whole bunch on the surface. We've got a bit of a avocado shell, and these things take forever. We've got a sticker right there. I'll just take that out. But as I'm looking on the surface, I'm seeing all kinds of little insects run around, and I don't know if I'm just kind of spooked because it has been sitting next to our compost, or yep, there's one right there, looks like an earwig, or if, there really are more in here. But let's go ahead and review what we put in here last time. Oh man, and I know last time we ran in, maybe these are worms. Hey, no, yeah. Look at that. I thought those were those different kind of larvae that I was finding in here. I forget what the name of them was, but no, we got some great worms down below. And check that out. Oh man, that's great. You know what? I think it's because of the food that we had just put in here, and they are right all there in the center. That's fantastic. So yeah, let's go ahead and review what we fed them last time. First thing we did was we laid down a little layer of fresh cardboard, and we put in some nasty expired hummus. Next, we dumped in basically a whole salad with lots of tomatoes, broccoli, onions, a celery stalk, carrots, and some lettuce. And we put in an avocado shell and some banana peels, followed by a tangerine, more avocado shells, a yellow watermelon, and the last of our angel cots. Finally, we put in our amendments of worm chow, used coffee grounds, and pulverized eggshell grit. And then we put in lots of shredded cardboard and some napkins. So let's go ahead and dig in the center if we see any of those, and if we see any of those wire worms that we were looking at last time. When we harvested, we found one. So again, I'm just kind of on the lookout for them. So that's why I thought I saw them before. But you know what? Things are looking good. Now, of course, after about 35 days, we're not going to see a whole lot of food in here. This bin is doing much better than I thought. I was harvesting, I just didn't see a whole lot of worms, and that's because I didn't go in the center, but clearly that is where they are. So let's kind of mix in from the side and see. Yep, just little bits. And I was seeing a lot of smaller worms, so that's good. This bin is constantly reproducing. Yeah, look at that. Check it out. Every handful, lots of worms. So I am pretty happy with how this thing is going. So let's go ahead and set up for our feeding. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and head outside and show you what we did with one of our floofahs. All right, so we're out here in my garden with the floofah, and we're going to go ahead and bury it right down here. Just take out my knife. We're just gonna pull out some dirt right here. Looks like I have it somewhere around 5 to 6 inches down. So that's what we're gonna do with it. And it's gonna be here amongst all the lettuce. And previously, this is where I had grown Floofah before. So here we go, right down inside goes the Floofah, just like that. And we're just gonna bury it right on top. There we go. And I have got a really good feeding zone indicator right here. And it is a tomato cage that we're gonna just put right here. So no matter what, we're gonna be able to know the center of this is the Floofah. So let's go ahead and go back inside. So I think we're gonna check on that Floofah in about 10 days. What we're doing here is we're just gonna put down a layer of dry shredded cardboard. And because we have so many tree branches down and we have lots of leaves from those tree branches, I'm gonna go ahead and put them in here. Now, normally you don't see me put a lot of leaves in here because we really don't have a fall. There's not too many deciduous trees here in Florida where I live. We do have a lot of oak trees, and that's this kind of leaf right here, but they fall pretty much all at once over 1 week in February. And the reason I don't scrape those off and use them in my worm bins is because here in Florida, especially in my neighborhood, there's a lot of St. Augustine grass and people fertilize the heck out of it. I just don't want to get any of that mixed into my bins. But because these were on branches, I don't think they've been exposed to any of that fertilizer. So we're going to see how they do in the worm bin, and they are extremely dry. We're going to put in some shredded cardboard over the top of this feeding, and we're going to put a very wet feeding in here, and that should help to moisten them up. And that is one of the problems with leaves if you put them in dry. A lot of people will soak them or put in leaf mold, and that does really well in a worm bin. So here's that Floofah. It's a brand new product that a friend of the channel has invented, and it is a loofah sponge that she has designed so that she cut out the hard parts and has sewn it back together, and it is just an amazing sponge. The one we put out outside I've been using for a couple months. This one is fairly new, only about a week old, but we are still going to give it a try, and I'm going to put it right here. And just like we did in our urban worm bag, which I introduced the Floofah for the first time, go ahead and check out that video, we're going to put a watermelon right on top. But that is not the only feeding we're going to give them. I've got a bunch of other stuff. This looks like it's a peach. Got another piece of watermelon. We've got a banana, and I'm just going to take that plastic part off. We've got some Brussels sprouts, some peppers. We've got some purple cabbage, it looks like. More banana peels, some more nasty cabbage. Now, all of this has been frozen. You really do need to freeze cabbage, especially because it can take longer for the worms to get to. And if there's any part of it that's alive, the worms are not going to eat it at all. And then I think I mentioned it in a post or maybe in one of the videos, right after our power came on, after the hurricane, about 48 hours later, we were able to get on a plane back up to Massachusetts, where our son's in-laws are from, and there were some cranberry farmers in the family, and we went up there and did some dry picking of cranberries, and we got to see some wet picking. And we're going to put some cranberries in here, and I think you're going to see these for a long time because cranberries kind of have some antimicrobial properties, and this food is going to get attacked by microbes and then eaten by the worms. So that's kind of the order it goes in, and the cranberries are going to take a while to do that. And if you're wondering what a cranberry vine looks like, or stems and leaves, that's them right there. Look how tiny they are. Pretty cool. We'll see how those go as well. All right, so we made some new worm chow, and this is cornstarch from that. It's been expired for about 2 years. And we've got some stuff in here, possibly from the 90s. It was some cupcake, red sugar, and some sprinkles in there.
What? Don't go my baking stuff.
It's so old, man. We have moved it like 10 times. And next we'll just go in with some coffee grounds right here. And I'm just gonna dump quite a bit in here because it has been a while since they've been fed. And coffee grounds are a great food source for them. And putting it in my worm bins helps me get the nutrients back into my garden. And then finally, we'll put some pulverized eggshell grit, made a new batch as well. And we are gonna be good to go for several months with this much pulverized eggshell grit. All right, so like I said, we're gonna put in some damp shredded cardboard now. Pretty cool. It's almost like we're using 3 different types of bedding here, which brings us to a good point. It's always important, no matter what you're doing when you feed, make sure you add bedding because the bedding is also food for them. I've seen and heard all kinds of things about worms can eat their weight in food a day or half their weight a day, etc. But whatever they're talking about, they're not talking about just the food. They're also talking about the shredded cardboard. So don't overfeed your worms, but do overfeed them bedding. Now, I've been running this outdoor worm bin for about 4 years. So if you want to see how I've been doing it, hit that subscribe button. It's free. Give me a like and check out my outdoor worm bin playlist to watch all our adventures. So this is good. We are bulking this up really well. And I have the sides folded down here. So even though it looks like I'm up to the brim, I've only filled this 20-gallon fabric bag about 1/3 of the way to about half the way up. We'll add just a little bit more right there, and you'll see me at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and fold the sides up. So one more pile right there, and then let's just dump in the liquid. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope your worm bins are doing fantastic. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now. Let's see if there's anything in this hole right here. And I'm not seeing a whole, oh, I think we got something. Here we go. It's been 21 days, and this is what we have left of that Floofah.